Hi everyone, it's Jana here from the Noble Sage. Hope you're doing good. Thanks for joining me today. I had a really good day today because today I packed two works to be traveling to Zimbabwe, which was really exciting because it's the first sail that I've ever done to the continent of Africa. So it's super exciting to pack those works and get them ready for DHL to pick up and take them over to Zimbabwe. I think they're going to look fantastic there in that continent, and it's quite a thrill. So that was a good day. Apart from that, it's boiling, so I've been just trying to stay cool. I hope you're all doing well at home. I really enjoyed yesterday's video because I had so many of you guys commenting on the video and participating and kind of really enthused about Pradeep Puthoor's work, which was really lovely to see because I think he's a really exciting artist. I got this catalogue out. This is the catalogue. I'm sorry, it's reversed. It says The Beating Heart of Kerala. This is the show that Pradeep first featured in. And I have about 7 of these copies left. So if any of you are interested in Pradeep's work and would like to learn more or read more about him, get in touch with me and I will send one of these to you. I think you will be. I think you'll really enjoy it. There's a lot of different artists, particularly Pradeep Puthoor, but also Manoj Vailur and Ravi Shankar, who everyone loves in the gallery. There's some nice. There's a nice essay in there that I wrote for you to have a look at. I thought today we'd look at another Pradeep Puthoor work because I felt like there was still more to say. And so I've picked a work called Carnivorous Plants, which is a work that's very different to yesterday's. Yesterday's had more colour. It's still in watercolour. It's still on the same size paper, still framed the same way. The technique is the same, but I wanted to tell you different things about Pradeep Puthoor in relation to this work. So let me just show you the work. So this is the piece here by Pradeep Puthoor. As ever, sorry about the reflection. I know you can see the skylight here at the top, but let me first get close to it so you can really have a look. So obviously we can see elements that we saw yesterday. We can see the handling is the same, watercolor on paper. He clearly uses very light washes. In this one, you can make out more of the detail. Now, what many of you may not know is that Pradeep comes from an illustration and graphic design background, and he gave that up to become an artist. So I'm just trying to get rid of that reflection. He gave that up to become an artist. But you can see in the work that there's still a lot of those kind of elements for Pradeep Puthoor. There's still a lot of extremely detailed workmanship, a very steady hand. You can see an approach that is very refined and very deliberately kind of accurate and precise in his watercolor painting. I really love this work called Carnivorous Plants because it links with yesterday. You can see some of the same elements that we saw yesterday, some of the same forms or shapes or content. You can see these kind of pincer plants coming up. You can see trapped birds, maybe dodos, also being trapped in these huge plants. You've got massive kind of scales from these plants. You've got thorns. He's used all the imagery of plant life, of the biology of plant life, and made it very extreme to create a kind of a latent threat for us, just like yesterday in Pink Soul Island. I think this one's more aggressive. The reason why I think this one's more aggressive is because the colouring. There's less of the kind of playful colouring, and it's all done in these kind of purples and pinks and reds, and that makes you think of blood. For me, when I look at this, I think of looking through a microscope at blood and seeing it expanded, and these light, the kind of blood reds coming through. That's the way that he's used the paper to get across a different element of threat. Let's get close to it again. So let's look really closely at it. You can see, sorry about my reflection, you can see these thorny handles, these antennae, and these joints, these strange mechanized joints that kind of gives this biological scene, this plant life scene, a kind of mechanical, frightening look. And it's the stuff in the background that's really interesting. It's not just the foreground. I mean, the foreground is great with these birds and these other creatures, but it's when you get into the background and you see that bird hanging upside down, protruding from a plant. When you get into this side here, and you see these shadows, menacing shadows in the background. That's when this gets, you kind of, the feeling of the work becomes very clear, the kind of menace of the work. And it's, as I say, it's heightened by the colouring. The colouring really heightens it. It really makes it kind of less pretty. In yesterday's work, Pink Soul Island, it was more pretty because there's different colours. It draws you in a different way. Whereas this work, in all these different reds and pinks, and is has a very different effect. Yeah, like blood stains. I'm not sure if I'm describing them well enough, but like blood stains, or on a white shirt, or Rorschach kind of tests, things like that. Those things that bleed out, and then from it emerges human psychology. I was reading about Pradeep to just remind myself of some of the things he said to me, and one thing interesting that he said was how he feels his work lies somewhere on the line between imagination and reality. And when he has a person look at his work, he is kind of engaging the psychology of the viewer, and using these strange scenarios, objects, is strange content to kind of ignite the psychology of the viewer. And I think that's a really fascinating thing. That scientific aspect is what makes him particularly important to my collection. I don't have many artists that have that scientific element, I guess. But I noticed, thinking about this, that I do love when works are pretty to the eye but have a darker meaning or a darker undertone. And the best example of that is the artist P. Jerkany. Let me get one of his works out. We looked at P. Jerkany before. That's better. We looked at P. Jerkany before. We looked at this work. But you can see here that if you remember what I said about P. Jerkany, his work was it's pretty to the eye. It is an underwater scene of fish, but and kind of underwater creatures all enjoying this space. But it's under close examination, or knowing his work, that you realise that actually this is about the end of the world. It's about apocalypse, and about these fish now transforming into having arms just like humans, having different features that are not fish-like, now in the future enjoying the world, enjoying the world which is now sunk underwater. So just like Pradeep Puthoor, it draws you in and then gives you something deeper to think about. And I think that's something that drew me to both of these artists. And it's actually a feature of my collection. When I was thinking about it, it really is something that that is important to me, and that draws me to new artists. Thanks. I'm glad you're finding it interesting. Hi, Auntie Gary. That's great that you're joining us. I hope you're enjoying looking at these two works, and you can see the comparison, the content that made me, that invited my kind of interest. Let's get close to some of them again. This is a beautiful work by J.A. Kenny. I mean, I always enjoy showing it. Yeah. And Pradeep Puthoor. I love the idea of the Venus flytrap. I mean, the Venus flytrap has something kind of sexually embedded in its design. You know, something going in and being trapped and then cause death. There's something kind of very metaphorical about it. Yeah. Oh, that's a nice shot. I wonder why birds are the main victims of his work. I know that dodos, because they were made extinct by humans, are important to him. But I wonder why, you know, there are other animals. I guess those are his main interests, really. So, as content-wise. Well, I hope you enjoyed that today. Thank you so much for joining me and to see another work by Pradeep Puthoor. It's nice to look at two works by an artist over 2 days. Gives me time for my own thoughts to evolve and tell you something new. Do join me tomorrow for the last one of this week. At 5 o'clock, I'll be looking at a different work. I already know what that will be. Probably a work by Alfonso Dos, who is a principal of the Madras College of Art once upon a time. And yeah, I hope you'll join me again at 5 o'clock tomorrow, Friday, the end of the week. And yeah, hope you have a great day. Thank you. Bye.